Hey guys, are you ready to unlock a new income stream? I'm here to show you how to navigate the profitable world of Amazon FBA with ease. All right, in today's video, I'm going to be diving into the world of Amazon FBA. So if you guys don't know who I am, my name is Charlie. I've been doing this since 2009. I built my own online business in the cell phone accessory category, and I built a lot of this business on Amazon. So whether you're a new entrepreneur, experienced, I just want to share the most effective strategies to turn Amazon into your next income, right? We're covering everything from the basic concept to some advanced techniques, or maybe some tools that will help you guys succeed in implementing one of these strategies, right? So first, let's understand what FBA is about, right? Let's talk about what Amazon FBA is and why it's such a great opportunity for anyone looking to, start learning how to sell online or how to make money online. So FBA actually stands for Fulfillment by Amazon, which means Amazon handles the storage, the shipping, and the customer service, and of course, the return as well. Now, this model allowed me to really just focus on a few important things, which is marketing, finding the product and developing the right product. And really, those are the two things I focus on the most is, how to maximize my profit, market the product, and then developing better product for the customers to buy. Today, we're going to go through three main strategies that many people are using to make money through Amazon FBA. So I'm going to go into depth on the pros and cons today of those three strategies. The first strategies, of course, is retail or online arbitrage. The second is going to be wholesaling. The third is going to be private label branding, which is one of my favorite. That's how I built my business. So let's get started. I'm going to show you the pro and con of retail arbitrage first. All right, guys. So I got a couple of pros and con lists written out here. So for retail arbitrage, the strategy essentially is you're buying a brand name product that's inexpensive, and then you're going to resell them on Amazon.com at a higher price. So Amazon retail arbitrage can be pretty much a pretty good side hustle. Like it can make you money, but I don't know about it being a full-time business venture because the business model in itself has a lot of pros and cons and some disadvantages that I'm going to go over today that could slow your progress down, right? So the first is the pros for this retail arbitrage is low cost of startup. I mean, essentially you can pretty much use $100, find a product from like some low-end stores, some discount stores, or Home Depot or TJ Maxx. Wherever there's a lot of discounts, you can find this product and then go on Amazon and list it up for sale. The second thing is its accessibility. Anyone can do this. If you have a bike, a car, and there's a retail store nearby, you can start it, right? And all you need is your phone to really start comparing the prices on Amazon versus the one in store. And if you can buy it, let's say something for $10 and sell it for $20, you have a good bit of margin for you to play with, okay? The next pros is flexibility. Seller can choose their own hours and work anytime you want from anywhere. So pretty flexible as a side hustle if you're really trying to start off small, okay? And of course, there's varieties, there's an endless amount of market size, and so it's a large market. There's tons of brands out there, millions of brands that you can jump into. And you don't need to do any marketing skills, but there is immediate profit potential, right? If you do it right, you buy something for $10, you sell it on Amazon, automatically you'll get cash flow when you sell it, minus all the fees. $10 selling it for $20, you make $10 minus fee, you might keep $8. So there is quick cash flow that could happen. I wouldn't say quick, but there is some challenges. So let me jump right into the cons. Of course, scaling this business is very slow, right? Being able to travel to 20 different stores and buying up 10, 20 products is going to take you forever. You're literally deal hunting at a thrift store essentially. So you're going to be going to Walmart, you'll be driving to Home Depot, you'll be driving to Lowe's, you're driving to any other department stores that are out there like JCPenney just to find deals so that you can list it on Amazon. So it's very slow to really scale this business. I don't see it scaling at all. And it's just a lot of time and effort. Definitely high competition because everybody's going to be selling the same thing you are. For example, if someone is, if you found a discount, I'm sure somebody somebody else out there is going to find the same deals and going to list it on the same product. Like for example, if you're selling Nike shoes, I'm sure somebody found the same deal and now they're trying to resell it online on Amazon. And you're very heavily dependent on sales and discount. If there's no sales, no retail discount, you won't make any money. So you're dependent on the stores. Of course, certain Amazon policies might ban you from, listing certain product. They might restrict certain products. It's very time consuming, like I mentioned. Like you have to go out there and find it yourself. No steady supply of inventory. So you don't know if you're going to be able to buy 1 or 10 or 2. So you never know, right? Of course, there's other legal trademark. If you're not allowed to sell from the actual manufacturer, the brand owner, you might not be able to sell. And of course, some items are seasonal, right? When it's seasonal, like you buy a product during Christmas, it'll sell, but then after Christmas, nobody's going to buy it anymore. And of course, you have limited control over your business, right? Long-term wise, if you're building a business where you rely heavily on like uncontrollable, like the store discounts, the inventory, finding the right product, those things will limit the control of your business, and it's no longer like your business, right? So you don't have any control at all, and so you're dependent on retailers, their inventory, and then you're dependent on Amazon's policies and also the brand's, I guess I would say the brand's authority to allow you to sell. Okay, so an example of retail arbitrage is, of course, for example, this is a recent deal I found on Slick Deals. You can go to slickdeals.com and find a bunch of great discounts. But most of the time, you probably won't get a good margin finding deals online because everybody would know. And anyone who's doing retail arbitrage or online arbitrage, they're going to be finding this product already. So, for example, this Makita circular saw is being sold on HomeDepot.com for $200, like this same package, right? And now you go to Amazon.com, they're selling it for $330. Man, great margins, right? $130 more from the $200 discount, right? That's awesome. But as you can see, there's about 16 sellers selling the same product, all competing on different pricing, right? And as you can see here, so many different sellers, CPO Outlet, Broward Exchange, there's plenty of people that you're going to be competing with to sell this exact item. So I don't know if you're going to be able to sell it. Like the goal is to be able to get to the buy box. And if you can't hit the buy box, it's going to be very hard for you to sell it, right? Right now, Hard Rock has it under Prime, so they're able to buy it and then ship it to Prime. So now they have advantage of the buy box. But as you can see, there's only one stock. It's not like this seller has like 20 items. Right? And so you're limited on inventory, inconsistent inventory, you're limited on the brand, you're limited on the discount. So there's a lot of disadvantage when jumping into this. But for the beginner, if say you never had experience before, this is probably one of the best strategies to start selling online, to know how to use the Amazon platform, to know how to find product, do product research, and knowing how to navigate the online side. Right? It's very easy and low cost of entry. So let's say if you have $200-300, you can start doing this. All right. So let's move on to the next strategies, which is Amazon wholesaling. Okay, so what is Amazon wholesaling? It's essentially just buying bulk product from existing brand and reselling them on Amazon. That's really it. It's essentially go and find a distributor of, let's say, Nike, Under Armour, or Samsung phones, and then you ask them like, hey, can I buy this at a discount? Can I buy 500 units at a discount? And then they give you a discount, and then you take it and you sell it on Amazon. It sounds simple, but it is a little different from retail arbitrage, and I'm going to talk about that next, the pros and cons of wholesaling. And it does require a little bit more a higher initial capital. And of course, you got to deal directly with suppliers or the distributor that works with the suppliers, right? All right, guys, so let's talk about Amazon wholesaling, okay? Amazon wholesaling is essentially you buying in bulk, okay? And you're buying it directly from a distributor or directly from the supplier. But the pros for this is that you do get that volume discount. They might give you 20% discount, 30% discount. It really depends, maybe 10% discount. It's really hard to tell. It's depending on the product and the category, right? You get stable source of income. You have brand control because now you develop relationship with the brand, and maybe you get an exclusive right to sell the product on Amazon, right? It's very scalable, easier to scale because you're ordering in bulk and you know where you're getting your supplies from. So it makes it more efficient for you to handle the shipping and the logistics because you know that you can get bulk items instead of going outside to a retail store like Walmart, doing retail arbitrage and just browsing through the aisle like 8 hours a day, 7 days a week just to find a deal, right? So this is going to be maybe you're going to find a couple of sources to supply you, and then you just work with them directly. Of course, potential exclusivity is probably the most important thing here. Is let's just say this brand just want to work with you alone. Dude, that's amazing. Like right there, nobody else can compete with you. So now you'll be able to get that buy box just by yourself, okay? There is reduced competition because of the higher costs of investment, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. And of course, more predictable pricing, right? You know, this fuel price fluctuation, you're not relying on discounts, of course. No need for sales anymore. You are buying at one of the lowest price possible where the suppliers will be able to give it to you, right? You can build a long-term relationship with the vendors, the suppliers, and the distributors, and you can get financing or any other type of loans with this, and you can get outside investment because this is a business model that people recognize, right? It's a wholesaling business. And so you can wholesale it online, or you can wholesale it to a retail store, you can wholesale it to mom and pops, wherever you want to wholesale it. This business model exists, so you're not doing anything new, it's just you doing it online. So now let's talk about the cons. It is a larger investment cost. I mean, if a brand requires you to buy at least 1,000 units, 1,000 units at, $20, $30 each, I mean, it adds up like 30 grand right there. It's a larger investment cost. And of course, you don't just jump in and invest. You got to make sure you find the right product first. So you got storage and logistics because you're buying such larger units. What do you do with all the products, right? You got risk of overstock if you misjudged the market, you found the wrong product, and the demand was like last week, and now this week there's no more demand because now it's being flooded by other people selling the same product. Very market dependent. Longer time frame to get return on investment, right? Because let's say if the product sells slowly, you do have quality control issues. Let's say if the supplier has made a mistake somewhere, and then of course requiring you to buy a minimum order quantity. Some suppliers won't work with you if you can't buy 1,000 units, right? There is certain brand restriction as well because you can't just sell everything. There's certain brands that you can't get into unless you develop a relationship. And you're not building your own brand. You're building somebody else's brand. Let's say Monster Energy. You're building Monster Energy's brand, right? And of course, you got to keep finding new SKU, which is stock keeping units, if you guys don't know. And I've seen companies like wholesaling company that has like 1,000 units, right? 1,000 different products that they're selling constantly. And it's very competitive because you're not going to be the only one selling that specific product because it's very hard for a company to give you exclusivity unless you have an advantage. And when you're starting off, it's hard, but eventually you will get there. And the profit margin is slow, right? So if you're working with a distributor, for example, if you're trying to buy Samsung devices and resell them, you're not going to get a good price for those. Maybe accessories, like Samsung accessories, you probably get a good price off. Let's say they're selling it online for like $50. You might be able to buy it for $35, maybe $40, right? And you have to buy larger units for you to get a better discount. So the profit margin on wholesaling isn't great. I would say around up to 10%, but you got to be managing your costs very tightly, right? And you have to find great deals when it comes to the volume discount. Now, there is a lot of stability, of course. The advantages is, of course, the stability in inventory. You don't have to deal with developing new brands. You can just jump right in. I wouldn't say jump right in, but you can just start learning and developing it, and really get into that wholesaling market space. If you don't want to go out and rummage through thrift store and dig around in Walmart for discount, right? Here are some example of wholesaling site. You can go to America leading to B2B directory here called Wholesale Central, right? They're pretty good, so you can reach out to them and find out which supplier you can work with, or if Wholesale Central itself will connect you with that supplier. They might be the distributor, right? A big one is Ingram Micro. I worked with them before in the past to distribute all products, and they distribute millions of products, right? They have hundreds of thousands of suppliers and vendors that they work with. It's kind of hard to get with Ingram Micro. You gotta have a minimum MOQ, very high MOQ, and you gotta have certain requirements, okay? And let's say you work directly with a company like Under Armour, for example. So you become their direct seller, right? Reseller, and you buy directly from them. You get their product at wholesale price. Now you can come in and you can sell it. As you can see here, Under Armour, for this specific legging that they have, there's a bunch of sellers here, right? Zappos, Courage Tactical, Upper 90 Soccer, Earthfare. Like, these are all distributors, resellers of this product. When they reach out to Under Armour directly, or they bought them through a distributor. And so you'll be competing with this to get the buy box access. And if you don't get the buy box, you're not going to be able to sell this product. It's not going to sell very fast. And some of these sellers are probably like Zappos. They probably hold like 60 to 100 units of inventory, maybe more like 1,000 units. Who knows, right? Zappos is a big company, so they could have like 10,000 units, right? Compared to you who have 10. So until Zappos can sell out, then you'll be able to sell, right? So wholesaling does have its advantages, but for me, I think it's more of a disadvantage because you're not building your own brand long term. But let's talk about the next strategies that people are doing that I highly recommend, because this is where I made the most success. This is where I got the most successful, is through private labeling. So let's talk about that. Okay. Let's talk about what private labeling is. So private labeling is essentially creating and selling your own products under your own brand name. And this offers the most control, and it does have the highest profit potential, right? So starting off your own private label business on Amazon involves creating your own brand for products that are typically manufactured by third party. So for example, you go overseas to China, you get a supplier to supply you a product, and then you redevelop it or you design it yourself. They make it, and then you provide a brand name, and then they'll print it on that product for you. And this business model can be highly profitable, but it does have challenges. I never said it was easy, right? So let's talk about the 10 pros and cons. I'm not going to go through all of them, but let's highlight some of the few main ones that I really think is a benefit of private label branding. So number one, you do have brand control. No one can compete on your listing on Amazon. It'd just be you selling it, right? 1 or 2 SKUs, right? You don't need thousands of different products. You just have 1 or 2 products that you sell. Definitely higher margin. My margin when I was running my business, it went up all the way to like 40%. It's different now, but there's higher potential, right? Because you're not competing with a lot of different people. Lower competition when you differentiate. You make yourself different, stand out from the competition. You build that customer loyalty. Totally scalable, because once you find a good supplier, you have a good marketing strategy, and your product is selling and ranking on Amazon, this thing could last you for years. And of course, customization option, you have the exclusive rights. And of course, it can turn from a side hustle to a full-time business. That's what happened to me. I built this business on the side, and then became a big successful business. And then, most importantly, you have an exit strategy. Somebody can come in and buy your brand, right? Other big companies out there who run Amazon brands, that's what they do. They buy small brands to add to their portfolio that has big potential. Now, let's talk about the cons. I wouldn't say that it's a small investment. It does require investment to start this business. Remember, I talked about like the FBA cost breakdown, right, of doing private labeling, and it really depending on how much you want to spend on your product. But I would say, you can start off at $4,000, or you can go all the way up to like $30,000, depending on how much product and the product costs and the marketing, how much you want to spend, things like that. That's really up to you, and you have room for that. But it does require some investment, because if you want to build a business, you got to invest. A business is just not going to grow out of the garage with no money, right? There's inventory risk if you don't do your research, or if you fail to ensure quality control. Nobody's going to buy your product and get negative reviews, and that could be a problem. So it requires some research and know-how and understanding of the market. So you got to learn how to do product research, right? You are dependent on the suppliers, but there's many suppliers out there that you can work with that can do the same thing. So you just got to pick and choose the best one. Focusing on customer reviews, so always maintaining good reviews. So that's something you have to manage. And of course, having the product shipped from overseas to your Amazon warehouse takes about a month and a half. If you do it right, it might be sooner. But the problem is you still have that lead time you have to wait for. And of course, there's competition. There's going to be other people jumping in the market. And if you're not doing a great job of standing out, they're going to take your sales. But overall, it's still one of my favorite strategies, right? Private label branding. Just creating my own brand, having full control of the business, of the brand, of the listing. Like, I do everything that I can to make sure that everything stands out. And here's an example of the private label brand that I started in 2009. So this one is called Ringke, and this is the type of case that we were selling, and it's still selling now. This brand, we sold the business, right? The benefit is that we exit the business, and we sold this business, and it's still running today. This brand is still growing, and there's no other sellers beside this company. That's the beauty of it. No one can just jump in and start selling unless you allow them to. So you control this listing. And that's me back then. We have to go to trade shows. We did so many different ways to try to promote the product, right? And here's the appraisal of how much you can exit the business for. This is the appraisal that I gotten from a appraiser. A guy that's specialized in evaluating businesses, and he concluded that it's worth $34 million at that time in 2015, right? So there's a lot of benefit of building your own brand on Amazon, especially with private label, doing the private label route and using the private label strategies. But right now I'm going to break down. So next I'm going to break down what the journey looks like when you're starting your own private label brand on Amazon. So let's go through that right now. So let's say if you want to start your own private label business, what does that look like? Creating your own brand. So I'm gonna lay it out a little bit simple for you guys to understand. But the first 6 months is usually about discovering the right product and value development, right? Making sure that the product stands out. You're going to be using tools like Helium 10 or Jungle Scout to help you find the product that's the most profitable and already generating sales. Like, I don't ever recommend finding a product that you love. Find a product that makes money, right? And that way you go in making the right decision. So the first 3 months, the first month's probably going to be just your business setup, logo, and a bunch of back-end admin stuff. And then second month, focus on learning how to do product research. Third month is going to be product research, and then that value development, right? And this is the average time frame that I see from working with many clients that's in our program. And then from April to May to June, we're talking about product research and development more. Maybe you get stuck and you still have to spend more time. If you're spending 30 minutes to an hour every day, you're definitely going to be past this within month 3. Like within the first 3 months, you'll be able to reach finding the right product, right? So product research and development, and then we talk about you start building your listing on Amazon, then optimizing the listing, getting the images and everything ready, and then your product is ordered, and then it's being shipped to Amazon, right? During that time, you're focusing on ensuring that your listing is optimized, right? Some of these steps goes intertwined together so that they're connected. It's not like they go exactly in order, but the first 3 months, this is how it's going to be, right? The next few months after that, you're going to be focusing on just making sure that your listing is ready for launch. And then the second phase, which is the next 6 months, it's going to be shipping, product launch, and reordering, okay, and restocking your items. So let's say you launch in July, right? You're going to be focusing on your PPC optimization, generating sales, and then August comes, you got to start thinking about restocking, because let's say you're selling out, and then you got to restock and then start focusing on the relaunch. Let's say you bought 300 units here, shipped to Amazon, and then they get sold out quick, right? It's about to sell out, so you have to prepare for that. So preparing for the restock order, and then you relaunch and continue to optimize your pay-per-click ads on Amazon to get sales, and then the last quarter is going to be more of just monitoring your sales, optimizing, launching new marketing strategies like influencer marketing, or maybe some viral videos, some ads outside of Amazon. So different strategies, right? Like maybe some Pinterest ads, some affiliate marketing. So by December, you're going to be focusing on restocking again, right? You got to restock before the new year ends, because when overseas, when you're buying the product from China, from the suppliers over there, they celebrate Chinese New Year. And so you got to start thinking about reordering, because by February, they're going to shut down for like 2-3 weeks and nobody's going to be working. And so right now we'll reviewing our sales, and during the December, January of the new year timeframe, sales are still ramping up. So you want to start thinking about like reordering and then optimizing, restocking, optimizing. That's kind of the journey in a very short snapshot. And I think the most important step here is going to be your product research and the value development, right? How do you develop new values? Well, bundling the right items together, maybe coming up with a different design, or new ways to improve the existing product, right? All of that is a part of that value development. And once you source the right suppliers, you're going to be working with them on a long-term basis. That's going to give you that cost-effective pricing that you need to have high margin when you sell on Amazon, okay? So once you launch your product, the remaining things now is like talking about the different scaling strategies, and that's going to be on another video that I'll talk about. But at the end of the day, we're going to be using tools and different things to help you succeed, right? To help you succeed. You don't want to go in blind without using any tools, data analysis tools to, review your sales, review your profit, to look at new product and what product is selling well, what product is not selling well. You want to have the right tools. All right, guys, we covered a lot today, and hopefully it didn't just melt your brain today, but I did give you a quick snapshot of what it looks like to start an Amazon private label business, which is one of my favorite ways to start selling online and building your own business, with the right approach. The right determination, you can definitely build a successful business like I did. I started off making 0 sales, and it took me 3 years to actually start generating like 20,000-30,000 a month. And then after that, it just started taking off. So, showing up 30 minutes to an hour a day, and we have couples and moms, super moms that are generating sales right now on their first launch. I mean, all they do is they spend 30 minutes to an hour a day, just committed work. And if you show up, you'll be able to build a successful business like I did, that maybe you potentially can sell later on, right? That's the goal, is to build a long-term business that you can sell. Okay, guys, I'll see you guys in the next video.